Every ordinary moment you share with your baby is being recorded somewhere no camera can reach, inside their developing brain, not just impressions, not just fleeting feelings that fade by morning, something far more permanent than that. The moments that feel the most routine, the ones you move through without a second thought, are the ones quietly doing the most significant work. And most parents never find out until much later, if they find out at all. Here is what developmental science has established beyond any serious debate. In the first year of a baby's life, the brain builds more new connections than it will ever build again. It is operating at a speed and sensitivity that will never be repeated. And the most powerful raw material it is using to build itself is not a program you signed up for, not a toy with flashing lights, not a class on Tuesday mornings. It is you. Specifically, it is the 10 ordinary things you already do every single day without thinking about them. Some of what you are about to hear will make you smile. Some of it will make you pause and look back at something that happened this morning in a completely different way. And by the time we reach number 10, the way you see the last quiet moment of your baby's day will never be the same. If you are new here, subscribe now, because every video on this channel is built around one idea. Understanding what your baby is actually experiencing changes everything about how you show up for them. We are starting with number 1, the way you say their name. Picture a quiet afternoon. Nothing special is happening. You glance across the room and you say their name, not because you need anything, not to correct them or call them for a feed, just because they are there and the name comes out of you naturally, softly, almost to yourself. That moment, that exact unremarkable moment, is doing something inside your baby's brain that researchers in early childhood development describe as one of the most powerful forms of emotional imprinting that exists in human development. When your baby hears their name spoken in your voice, with your specific tone, with whatever warmth or tenderness is carried in the way you say it, the regions of their brain associated with pleasure, safety, and self-recognition all activate at once. And this is not a temporary response. Studies on early emotional memory show that the feeling attached to how a baby's name is spoken in the first year of life creates a pattern of self-recognition that stays neurologically active for decades. Their name in your voice becomes the first experience they ever have of having an identity. It is the first mirror they are ever handed. But here's the part that most parents never hear. It is not only the warmth that matters, it is the frequency. Babies who hear their name spoken with positive emotional tone multiple times throughout the day in the first 12 months show measurably stronger development in the region of the brain responsible for emotional regulation, empathy, and self-control compared to babies whose name is used mostly in functional or corrective situations. Say their name. Say it often. Say it the way you feel it. Because to them, it is not just a word. It is the beginning of knowing who they are. Number 2, the first face they see every morning. Before your baby makes a sound, before they reach or cry or move, their eyes do one thing first. They search, they scan the space around them with a precision that is easy to underestimate until you understand what is actually happening. They are not simply looking for you, they are reading you. Developmental researchers have established that babies as young as 6 weeks are already processing their caregiver's facial expression with extraordinary accuracy. They are taking in your eyebrows, the corners of your mouth, the softness or tension around your eyes, and they are answering a question their nervous system is asking. Is this world a safe place? Does my being here make the people around me glad? When your face lights up, when your expression says without a single word that they are the best thing you have seen, their brain responds with a release of neurochemicals, including oxytocin, dopamine, and serotonin simultaneously. Researchers describe this as the chemistry of feeling found. And what almost no one tells new parents is that this morning greeting, repeated every single day through the first year, is directly linked to the development of secure attachment. The babies who receive warm, consistent emotional greetings when they wake grow into children and eventually adults with stronger relationships, greater emotional resilience, and a higher baseline sense of well-being. The first face they see every morning is building the internal sense of the world that they will carry long before they have words for any of it. Number 3, whether you put your phone down when they look at you. I want you to hear this one not as a judgment, because this is genuinely one of the hardest things to navigate in the world we are all living in right now, but as information. Because what your baby experiences in their brain and body when they look at you and find you looking at a screen is something that has been studied carefully, and the findings matter. When a baby reaches toward a caregiver, vocalizes, makes eye contact, and receives no response, even briefly, their stress hormone levels rise. Their heart rate increases, they try harder to re-engage, they reach again, they make more sounds, and if the non-response continues, they eventually turn inward. They go quiet, they start trying to manage the feeling alone. Researchers studying caregiver responsiveness have found that the infant brain does not have a category for "my parent is busy right now." It only has 2 settings: responded to or not responded to. The neurological effect of a parent absorbed in a screen and a parent who is emotionally unavailable for other reasons registers identically to a baby under 12 months. Small, repeated gaps in connection across thousands of daily interactions are not damaging in isolation, but the pattern across time is what shapes the developing brain. The flip side of this is just as important. Every single time you put the screen down, every time you meet their eyes and respond to what they are reaching toward, you are completing a loop their brain opened. And a completed loop is how a brain learns it is safe to keep reaching. You do not have to be perfect. Nobody is. But every time you choose the eyes looking up at you over the screen in your hand, you are doing something the science is very clear about. You are building a brain that believes it is worth responding to. Number 4, how you respond when they cry. If you have been finding this valuable, take 2 seconds to subscribe. New videos go up every week, and every single one is designed to help you understand what is actually happening inside your baby. Now, the cry. It is one of the most primal sounds in human biology. It activates a stress response in every adult who hears it, including you. And how you respond to it is among the most consequential things you will do in your baby's first year. Decades of attachment research have established what happens when babies signal a need and caregivers respond consistently versus inconsistently. What those researchers found forms the entire foundation of how we understand child development today. Babies who receive warm, consistent responses to their cries in the first year develop what is called secure attachment, and secure attachment is the single strongest predictor of long-term mental health, relationship quality, and emotional resilience that developmental science has ever identified. When you go to your baby, when they cry, when you pick them up or speak to them or simply let them hear your voice so they know you are coming, you are not spoiling them. That idea has no support in the research. What you are actually doing is teaching their nervous system something it needs to learn, that the world responds to their needs, that they are not alone in their distress, that when something feels overwhelming, help arrives. That is not just comfort in the moment. That is the neurological template for how they will handle stress, relationships, and difficulty for the rest of their life. And here's the part that should take the pressure off every exhausted parent listening to this. It does not have to be perfect. What the research consistently shows is that what matters is not responding to every single cry within 30 seconds every single time. What matters is the overall pattern, the sense your baby develops over hundreds and thousands of interactions that when they need you, you come. Responsiveness over time, not perfection in every moment, is the variable that changes outcomes. When you go to them, you are not just stopping a cry. You are building a brain that knows it is not alone. Number 5, the way you touch them. The automatic weight of your palm settling on their back when you lift them. You do not decide to do it. Your body just knows. The slow warmth of your hands during a bath. The way you hold their head when you carry them close. All of it is neurological input of the highest order. Studies on infant tactile development have shown that babies who receive consistent, gentle physical contact in the first months of life show accelerated development of the protective coating around nerve fibers that determines how fast and efficiently their nervous system operates. In the simplest possible terms, touch makes the developing brain work better and faster. But it goes beyond physical development. In touch is the primary way your baby regulates their entire nervous system before they have the cognitive ability to do it themselves. When you are calm and your hands are slow and steady and warm, your baby's nervous system, the one governing their heart rate, their breathing, their stress hormones, literally begins to synchronize with yours. Your body becomes the external rhythm their body borrows. Your breathing, your heartbeat, your warmth, until theirs learns to keep its own time. Researchers call this one of the most remarkable findings in developmental neuroscience. When you hold them, you are not simply comforting them, you are being their nervous system on their behalf until they are ready to run it themselves. Number 6, the tone of your voice when you are stressed. Not the words, not what you are saying, the tone. Babies under 12 months have no capacity to understand language in any meaningful way, but they have an extraordinary and well-documented ability, present as early as 4 months of age, to detect emotional information in the sound of a voice. They are reading your voice the way you read a face. Studies using brain imaging technology to observe infant responses to different vocal tones have found that babies respond to tense, stressed, or sharp vocal tones with activation of the brain's threat detection center. Not because they understand that you are stressed, because their biology reads the acoustic properties of your voice, the pitch, the pace, the tension in it as environmental data. They are asking, what kind of place am I in right now? Here is what that means in practice. For the afternoon when everything runs late and your voice has an edge, you did not put there deliberately, even if you are not speaking to your baby, even if your words are completely neutral. Their brain is registering stress in the environment around them, and repeated activation of the threat response in early infancy is associated with heightened anxiety patterns later in childhood. This is not meant to make you afraid of ever having a hard day. That would be impossible, and it would miss the point entirely. What it means is that when you notice you are wound tight, even 30 seconds of slowing your breathing and softening your voice before you interact with your baby is one of the most powerful things you can do for their developing nervous system. Your voice is their emotional weather. They cannot read the forecast in words yet, because they read it in the sound of you. Number 7, how you react in the second after they fall or get scared. They pull themselves up on the edge of the coffee table, wobble, and sit down hard. No real injury, but before the sound forms, before they have even processed what happened, their head turns straight to your face, not to the floor, not to the place they fell from, to you. Developmental researchers call this social referencing, and it is one of the most consistently documented phenomena in infant research. Starting around 9 months, babies systematically look to their caregiver's face after any event that is ambiguous or alarming to determine how to interpret what just happened. Your face in that fraction of a second is the most important piece of information they have access to. If your expression shows panic, if the sharp intake of breath and the wide eyes arrive before you can manage them, your baby's brain reads that as confirmation that something serious has happened and their distress escalates significantly. If your face shows calm reassurance, a slight smile, a soft and steady "you are okay," their brain registers the event as manageable and their recovery is measurably faster. This is how babies begin building their own emotional regulation. They borrow yours before they develop their own. The calm you bring to the small, scary moments of your baby's day is not just reassurance. It is the template for how they will respond to fear for years to come, the courage they will eventually carry into the hard moments of their own life was first borrowed from the steadiness on your face when they were small and the world startled them. Number 8, the sounds and music in your home. You hum something while folding laundry in the next room. You do not even realize you are doing it, but they do. The acoustic environment your baby lives inside is not background noise to them. It is primary sensory input. Language researchers studying how babies absorb the sound patterns of their world have found that by 6 months of age, a baby is already showing differential brain responses to the sounds of their home language versus unfamiliar languages. They have already begun mapping the sound landscape of the world they live in. And beyond language, music specifically activates more regions of the infant brain simultaneously than almost any other stimulus. Motor systems, auditory systems, and emotional processing centers all firing at once. And babies exposed to regular music in the first year of life show stronger auditory processing, better emotional regulation, and meaningfully stronger spatial reasoning ability in early childhood. The lullaby you sing slightly off-key, the music drifting from the kitchen while you cook, the way you hum when you carry them down the hallway. You're not just filling silence. Every note, every melody, every rhythm is building auditory architecture in a brain that is listening to absolutely everything. Number 9, the way you talk to them even when they cannot answer. You narrate the drive home. You describe the rain sliding down the window. You respond to their babble as though it was a complete sentence because to them, in every way that matters, it was. That instinctive rise and fall in your voice when you speak to them, the pitch that no one taught you and that parents in every culture and every corner of the world naturally find, is not accidental. It is biology meeting your baby exactly where they are. A landmark study tracking children over 30 years established that the number of words a child hears in the first 3 years of life is one of the strongest predictors of vocabulary, reading ability, and academic achievement by the age of 10. By a child's 3rd birthday, the gap between those raised in the most verbally rich environments and those raised in the least is not thousands of words. It is tens of millions. But it is not only about quantity. The words that matter most are the ones that follow your baby's attention. When you follow their gaze and name what they are already looking at. When you respond to their sounds as though real communication is happening, because it is. The words that land in the context of what they are already reaching toward are the words that build language fastest and deepest. Talk to them. Tell them everything. They are listening to every word, and their brain is building the house their thoughts will live in for the rest of their life. And now we arrive at number 10, the the last moment before they fall asleep, whatever it looks like in your home, a feed in the dark, a slow rock, a hand resting gently on their chest, a song sung quietly to the ceiling. There is a moment that happens every single night just before your baby crosses from wakefulness into sleep. Their eyes are still half open. The world is going soft at the edges. Their body is going heavy in your arms. That threshold moment, in the one between almost asleep and fully gone, is one of the most neurologically significant windows in the entire human day. The reason is this: the brain does not simply switch off at sleep. It goes to work. It processes everything that happened. It consolidates what it experienced. It files and strengthens and deepens the emotional memories of the day. And the last emotional input before sleep crosses the threshold is among the first things that work begins on. What your baby feels in that moment, the physical warmth, the weight of being held, the smell of you, the sound of your breathing, the rhythm of your heartbeat slowing down alongside theirs, is encoded with a depth that ordinary waking moments cannot match. Researchers studying early emotional memory have identified the consistent emotional quality of sleep transitions as one of the factors most strongly associated with a child's long-term internal sense of safety, not physical safety, something deeper. The baseline belief wired into the nervous system before language exists to describe it, that the world is fundamentally okay and that they are loved inside it. You are the last feeling they carry into sleep. You are what their brain reaches for first when it begins its nightly work of building who they are becoming. That is not a small thing. That was never a small thing. The next time you are in the dark at 11 at night with a weight in your arms that is finally going still, and you wonder quietly whether any of this matters, whether you are doing enough, whether you are getting it right, I want you to hear this clearly. You are doing something that no program, no purchase, no perfectly optimized routine can replicate. You are giving them the feeling of being loved without condition. And that, the research tells us without any ambiguity, is the thing that stays longest. Not the toys, not the classes, not the milestones hit at exactly the right week. The warmth of you in the dark, when they needed to feel safe, that is what remains. So here's what I want to leave you with. None of the 10 things on this list are things you need to add to your day. They are already happening. They are already in the ordinary fabric of your life with your baby. What changes now is that you can see them. And when you can see them, you can bring more of yourself to them. Not more pressure, not more perfection, just more presence. Because your presence, it turns out, is the most advanced developmental tool that has ever existed. Tell me in the comments, which one of these hit you differently? Was there a moment today, something small and ordinary that looks completely different to you now? I read every single one.